What's up, card game fans? Coming back to you with a little bit of a deck profile slash theory kind of thing here that I've been working on over a while. I know that I've put up a lot of other deck profiles that have had some cards that may have been probably more expensive than they need to be. So what I wanted to do today is show you off a little bit of a budget deck that can still kind of hold its own competitively. It's a very fun deck. I wouldn't say it's like tier one or anything like that, but for people who are looking to play the game and are on a budget, this is a deck that is definitely affordable, with the exception of maybe like one or two cards, depending on what your range is. This is basically the Ginyu deck from set 10. We have our Ginyu leader. Auto, when this card attacks, you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a Green Ginyu Force card with an energy cost of 2, you may play it, then draw one card, and he awakens at 4 life or less, or if you have 4 or more Ginyu Force cards in play in your battle area. You draw 2, flip them over, and on the other side, he has that same auto. When he attacks, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a Green Ginyu Force with the energy cost of 2, you may play it, then draw one card. Gains the additional activate battle once per turn. Choose one Green Ginyu Force card in your battle area, and it gets plus 10k battle power for the battle. So it's obviously a very aggressive aggro strategy. Just one key thing to note: if when you reveal the top card of your deck, if it is not a Ginyu Force, you must shuffle your deck. The rules state in the game that if a card will be revealed from the top and the card doesn't state otherwise, the deck must be randomized. We're going to start off with the Unison, which is Demigua, Unison of Sorcery. If he would lose a marker, you may add one card from your life to your hand instead. Most people will try to go for this, not knowing that effect, so it allows you to kind of self-awaken in a way. We mostly just use it for the +1, where he gets plus 10k power for the turn. The -3 doesn't really come up too much. Maybe later in the game, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, KO it, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less, ignoring barrier, and KO that one. So it's a way to get rid of multiple cards. Doesn't really come up too much because the idea of this deck is to basically spam the board with all your different Ginyu pieces. We're going to go over the Ginyu lineup here. 4 copies of Birder, fastest in the universe. Most of them have the keyword unique, which means only one can be in play. Birder is a blocker. At the end of your turn, you can switch him to you switch his card to active mode. Look at the top 3 cards from your deck and place them in the top and or bottom of your deck in any order. So that's basically a way to rearrange the leader's ability. So every time you're attacking, you're revealing one of these guys, putting them into play. It's really nice. He restands himself, so you always have that blocker active. Next up is Gildo Psycho Psychic. He is also unique, so the only one can be on the board. Has 2 activate mains. If your leader is a Ginyu Force card and you discard Gildo from your hand, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck and place them on the top and or bottom of your deck in any order. When he's on the board, he has an activate main. Once per turn, you look at the top 5 cards in the top of your deck and place them on the top and or bottom of your deck in any order. The reason why it's written that way is because you can look at the top 5 and put like one on top and the other 4 on the bottom, and you can do that in any order. So it's really nice to kind of like filter through your deck and cycle through what you may want or don't want. Next up is Ginyu, Frieza's greatest soldier. He does not have unique, so you can put as many on board. When he's played, you can choose up to one of your leader cards or Green Unison cards, and it gets plus 10k power for the turn. And if your leader is a Green Frieza card, when this card is placed in the drop area from the battle area by a skill, you may return this card to its owner's hand. So that effect doesn't really come up because he is not a Frieza card, but it's also handy for the +1. The main effect there. So when he's played, you can give your leader or your Demigua 10k power, just extra aggressive pressure for those beatdown swings. Next up is Jace, second in command. Unique. When this card attacks, look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add up to 1 Ginyu Force card among them to your hand, and then place the remaining cards on the top and or bottom of your deck in any order. That helps with this card here, Raccoon. If you lead a card as a Ginyu Force card, when this card is played, you can choose up to 1 green Ginyu Force card with an energy cost of 2 in your hand and play it. So he has a way to like summon others, and then you can trigger their effects to rearrange your deck, swing with Ginyu, just all sorts of crazy combinations to flood the board with your Ginyu army and awaken as early as possible. In terms of the higher drops, we have the 4-drop Ginyu Backbone of the Force. If you have at least 1 Raccoon, Jace, Birder, and Gildo card in play, you may play him from your hand, and you can't play copies of this card for the turn. So he's a free play guy as long as you have the other 4 in place. Which is really nifty. The auto is why we play it. When this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and gain control of it. If you gain control of a card, you give control of this card to your opponent. So you give this guy to your opponent, and basically take like a threat or whatever. It's a change of heart, essentially, if you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh! This also helps with the next card that we play, which is Ginyu the Body Snatcher. He has double strike, and he gets minus 10,000 power during your opponent's turn. Activate main, you choose 1 battle card you gain control of from your opponent with 1 of your card skills and place it in its owner's drop area and play this card from your hand. So basically you can take control of the guy, summon him, take control of the guy by giving them this, and then he comes out for play, which is awesome. Extra swarm pressure, 20k, double strike, it's nothing to sneeze at. If your leader card is a Green Ginyu Force card, when this card is played, you choose all Green Ginyu Force cards in your battle area, and they get plus 10k power for the turn. So all these little guys will become 2500 power, which is amazing. Again, just incredibly beat down strategy. It's all about rushing your opponent down and attacking their face. So the only non-green card we play is this Ginyu Helix Strike, which was from one of the anniversary boxes. It's never played in terms of summoning it, but we do use it for its activate main. You pay 1 energy, you place this card in your drop area from your hand. If you lead a card as a Ginyu card, which he is, look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. You choose up to 1 Ginyu Force card among them, add it to your hand, and then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. If you added a card to your hand, choose up to 1 Ginyu Force card from your hand with an energy cost of 2 or less and play it. So it's a way to get these guys into your hand and play them as well for 1 energy. That comes in very handy if you miss out. You want to see this guy early. This is definitely your definite turn 1 play. If you don't have this would probably be the next best play to basically search for these guys, get them into play, and start your Ginyu shenanigans. The only counterplay you play is Frieza, Charismatic Villain. Counterplay, you can activate counterplay skills of other cards for the turn. Play this card from your hand, and when you have a Green Unison card with 2 or more markers in play, you can activate this card's counter skills from your hand without paying its energy cost. When he's played, you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 7 or less and KO it. So the Domingra, if you play it turn 1 and then you activate its +1, it's going to have 2 counters, which makes this card live from turn 1 on, and you're able to stop whatever your opponent summons at you, and then you just crack back with your Ginyu Swarm. We do play some Overwhelm. We have 2 copies of Secret Identity Mass Sane. It's Overwhelm 6, so if you have 6 and drop, you can summon him. He's a free 25k guy. When he's played using Overwhelm, you choose any number of your opponent's battle cards that add up to the total cost of energy of 6 or less and send them to their owner's warps. So you can get rid of Abuni tokens with this, which comes in very handy against the blue decks. In terms of our combos, we have 2 copies of Hitting Power East Supreme Kai. I have Defending Father Paragus for the super combo. I know that this might be a little pricey for some if you haven't had these already. You can use a standard green draw card super combo. This one is arguably probably the best super combo for green though. If you have it, definitely play 4. If you don't, any green 0 cost 10k. Preferably one that's a 4 life or less, because you want to hold on to it for game when you're swinging with the bigger Ginyu guys. In terms of the last 4 slots, this is pretty much player preference. Shocking Death Ball is probably the negate of choice for the deck because it is a sparking negate. And then you can also destroy an opponent's battle card with the energy cost of 2 or less. If you are able to get the card, Dormant Potential is also really handy in this deck. If you lead a card as mono green, choose any number of your opponent's battle cards that add up to a total energy cost of 2 or less and KO them. Additionally, you may choose one green card in your hand or discard it. If you do, your opponent can only attack once more this turn. So it's essentially almost like a flying Nimbus. You definitely want to play like a copy if you have one, probably main one, maybe two, depends on what you're trying to do. If a Booney is a big problem in your locals, or if a Booney is a card that you're definitely afraid of, you definitely want to play at least one copy of this in your deck. You can also activate this from your hand for free if you have a Green Unison card in play. So if you have the Demeter in play, it's basically a free negate, which is pretty good. Another piece of tech would be For the Greater Good. This is basically just to stop like SCRs or any type of victory strike effects. You can also discard it off of, for the other cards that we play. If your leader card is green, negate the attack and choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 1 and KO it. If it's in your drop area, you can remove it from play, pay 1, and then remove a green card from your hand to negate another attack. One of the best cards that I think that's really good, if you have it, Pretty Black Hole is also really good in this deck. Negates the attack, and then you may choose one of your battle cards, negate its skills, and place it in its owner's drop area. If you do, you draw one card, and then you choose any number of your opponent's non-token battle cards with a total energy cost less than or equal to the energy cost of this card you placed in the drop with the skill, and KO them. So one of the cards that you want to do would be the Frieza Charismatic Villain. So you can basically Pretty Black Hole, get rid of your Frieza, draw a card, and then anything that's 5 or less would probably die, as long as it's not like an Inabuni or whatever. This is a good tech choice. Definitely Shocking Death Ball and maybe Dormant Potential are probably the ones you definitely want to hold on to. You could also be stylish and play one of each one. That's not something that wouldn't be minded. I would definitely prefer Shocking Death Ball. But again, that's like the last 4 slots for the extra cards. Maybe 3 copies of Shocking Death Ball, 1 copy of Dormant Potential, maybe side the other 2 depending on what it is. But that's a look at a more budget alternative, something that's a little light on the wallet, is fun to play, and it's also arguably pretty competitive. I wouldn't say it's tier 1, but it's definitely a good deck to have from set 10 if you're looking for something that's a little bit more budget and more fun to play. Thanks for dropping on by, and continue to like, subscribe, the whole 9. We've got more card game content, more gaming content. I love playing Fall Guys, and we'll be showing some more video game stuff later on. Take care, stay super, etc.